Mm-hmm. It does. It looks fine. Yeah. I can't. Feeny, when you have a chance, then you can start sharing it. Because that's what Michaela normally would do. Share it in my Saving City group. Okay. And then on the Saving City page. So, yeah, I am ready. 3, 2. What's up, Milwaukee and the world? Welcome to another episode of Saved in the City. Saved and the City. I should know the name of my own show. With your girl, Iberia, right here on WQIL-DB. So excited to be here this afternoon, taping the show. I mean, everybody can't say the same. We all are granted with a measure of grace and mercy every morning when we're able to open our eyes and be in the land of the living. So I am forever grateful when I have the opportunity just to be here, a second chance, another chance to get it right, and then another chance to be able to kick it with y'all, for you to listen in and hopefully get something from the show. So this is your first time listening into the show. Saved in the City is a weekly talk show where we candidly explore issues and topics from church culture to world culture and everything in between. Each show ends with the show's theme solution. You'll hear me call that the Kingdom Solution. So that's generally what we call at the end of the show. That's your answer. That's your direction towards the end of the show. So definitely look out for that. And be sure to like me on Facebook at Saved in the City. Join my groups to stay connected so that you don't miss out on the different competitions that we have and just the community connection with like-minded people. You can't trade that for the world. So again, it's just always a blessing to sit here in front of you guys on Wednesday afternoons. And then of course, I do have an actual podcast. So whenever you guys have a moment, please subscribe, whether you have an iPhone or Android, or you're connected to Google Play or Sticher. Just search Saved in the City and you can download the podcast and never miss another episode. Those podcasts go live every Friday at 12 o'clock. So make sure that you keep it locked right there. You definitely don't want to miss this. In addition, you want to visit my website at www.savedandthecitymke.com if you have an interest in being on the show, or you want to nominate one of your Milwaukee treasures, or just a community leader that's doing amazing things in the city. Again, www.savedandthecitymke.com. What else? Just shout out to my sponsors, people that support me on a regular. Meemaw's Gourmet Delights. Love her. We're getting close to the holidays. Make sure you guys head out to Woodman's today, tomorrow, or, get your holiday cakes. Why not? You don't have to do all the slaving in the kitchen. You can support my mom and just support a Black-owned business. She's doing the dang thing at 62 years old, so I'm so proud of her. Shout out to LZ Flanard, Enterprise Now. I absolutely couldn't be doing the show without his support and being able to be on his platform and use some of his connections. So, as you're searching for Saved in the City on your podcast platforms, make sure you search for Enterprise Now. Download that as well. Get connected to LZ Flanard. He's doing amazing things for entrepreneurs in our city and abroad. I mean, you don't have to be in Milwaukee to get connected to me or to LZ. So make sure that you do that. You can just visit his website at www.wqil-db.com. Shout out to Luminati Enterprises for all of your marketing support. Afeni Grace and Michaela Farmer holding me down here in the studio. Couldn't do it without you girls. Love you so much. And, to each and every one of you, thank you. You don't have to tune in. You don't have to listen. You don't have to watch. You don't have to share. So I appreciate you. I love you guys, and I hope you love me too. So without further ado, you know exactly what time it is. It is Won't He Do It Wednesday, because won't he do it every time? I'm not even playing, and I'm talking about God. Just in case you guys are wondering about the he that I'm talking about, I am talking about the Lord. He will do it every time, whatever your situation is. I don't care if it looks like it's over, it's done. God has the final say, whether you're sick, whether you're caught in addiction, whether you're caught in gang balance. What's gang balance? I don't know. Child, I done called it out to something new. Gang balance. Come on out. I'm so excited that I don't have to talk all through this full hour by myself. I am joined today with an amazing young man, Ron Sain. Are you here with me in the studio?
Yes.
You feeling good this morning?
Yes, I am.
He giving us the Barry White this morning.
Yes,
All right. I love it. So I decided to bring Ron on today because, again, we're just, probably really for the rest of this year, we're doing Won't He Do It Wednesday, talking to different people about their testimonies. I guarantee you most of the people that you meet throughout the course of your day, you have no idea what they've been through. And so with this particular kind of feature, what we're doing is shining light. Let's take off the mask and let's look behind and see, can I relate to this person? Are they going through something that I've been through? And if they've gotten out, maybe I can too. So, Ron, why don't you start by just telling the people about yourself? Thank you so much for even coming on the show all the way out here in Milwaukee. We appreciate you.
Oh,
but it's all the way out there for me. But you said you just live right around the corner, right?
Ain't too far.
Oh, wasn't nothing for you. A little hop, skip, and a jump. What's up, Chantel? Your wife is saying, hey.
Hey, boo.
Hey, boo, I love it. So go ahead, Ron. You know I can go.
Well, I am Ron Sain.
Yes.
Me and my wife are the founders of Belivers United. The purpose of Belivers United is to just create a connection point for believers, regardless of your denomination. We want to get back to the root system.
I love it.
Of what this thing is about.
Sure.
So we just want to be a connection point for believers across the board, regardless of if you're AME, CME, Church of God in Christ, whatever it is that you are. We just want to be a place where we all can connect and get back to that sense of family.
I love it because, we need a lot more unity. There's so much division in the church and just really in our world. It's for themselves. It's dog eat dog world, whether you're whatever it is that you believe. So I love that you guys do that. So it's so interesting. I had Daniel Harris on the show. DH. He's been on the show like 3-4 times. He inboxed me. Can I come? I'm like, okay, let's figure out how we work Daniel. But he always has something else to give. So I absolutely love him. And he shared his testimony. Again, another one that doesn't look like what he's been through. And he just mentioned you, Ron, you should talk to Ron. And I know you, like I said, you've been in the back of my mind. I wanted to learn a little bit more about your story. So take us through the journey of Ron Sain to where you are today.
Well, very interesting. Excuse me. First and foremost, I was born and raised in the church, but I was shaped and cultivated in the streets.
Talk about it.
So what I mean by that was I was born in the church because that's what my family did. Grandfather was a pastor, family ministers. But me, on the other hand, I was that curious individual. So I was the one looking over the fence and wanted to figure out if the grass was greener. Yeah. Well, eventually I jumped the fence. At a very young age, and I got deeply involved in like the gang life, everything associated with gangs, from the drug selling, the whole nine. But then I got deeply involved, so it went a lot deeper than just repping a set. It actually involved everything that came along with actually being a part of the gangs.
Are you able to say what some of those things are?
Oh, yeah. I mean, from the fights, the shootouts. I've been involved in multiple shootouts. I've been shot at. I did some shooting.
You killed somebody?
I've been involved in some very interesting things.
Wow.
To say the least. And it the long and short of it is when you involved, you're in church. Yeah. And a lot of people don't understand or think that you're not paying attention, because I wasn't. I was just there. But when you're in when you're in the atmosphere, it gets in you, regardless of if you want to be there or not.
Yeah, that seed is planted.
It's planted. It was deeply, deeply planted.
Yeah.
So
underneath a couple things.
Yeah. So in the midst of being involved in everything gang related, from the drug selling, again, the violent aspect, I want to more so speak on that part, because I think when it comes to the gang life and drug selling, everybody talks about the highlights. Everybody, the money, the this, the that. Yeah. Nobody talks about them hospital visits, the broken bones, the kicked in doors, the raised. They don't talk. That's the part they don't talk about. That's the fine print that we tend not to to highlight.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
I found out the hard way that it comes with the territory. But there were times that I would be in situations where shots would be fired, I would run out, and the grace of God will really, really, really come in and protect me. I knew what to say when I thought I didn't know what to say.
Mm-hmm.
So there was something in me in the midst of everything that was going on that would just say Jesus.
Yeah.
So I would say that, and in the midst of that, individuals that I would clearly be into it with will walk right past me. And I'm looking at them, and they looking at me, but I don't know who they saw. And at that point, I realized that this thing is a little bigger than
yeah.
I am.
Yeah.
But I was battling with identity. When you have when you come from a Christian home and you're doing the complete opposite, then you're the black sheep, as they call it, and you don't understand the value of life. Which, at that point, I could care less.
Yeah. Yeah, one thing that stands out right away, two things. And I love that you said, people always want to highlight the money, the women or whatever else kind of comes along, the power that kind of comes along with that. But we don't really want to talk about the other side. And I was thinking about how many we talk about that just, one to another, but in media in itself, whether you're watching TV or on social media, especially social media, is glorified. It's funny. It's funny, the killings and the different things that are going on. It's not funny to me, but I'm saying the way people joke about things, or even like some of the hit shows, Power, which, I binge watched the other day. And I'm like, oh my God, like if somebody's watching this stuff on a regular, you got to watch what you allow into your floodgates, your eye gates, and your ear gates. But Power is, you see him, he's in his nice suits, and yeah, there's some gory side to it, but it's really mainly about money and sex, and there's some other, the other stuff's on the, on the other side, but like you said, the broken bones and the children that have died and the crying mothers and all these other things, or people that are caught are now addicted to drugs. So what was the wake-up call for you? What was that transitional point?
The transitional point for me is when it got to the point where I realized I could never comfortably go home. I was never comfortable. I couldn't comfortably be around family the way that I wanted to, because I always had the expectancy of that boomerang coming back. You can't, for every action there's a reaction, so you can't dish it out without the expectancy of it eventually coming back. So I was overly concerned with anything transpiring with my moms and my brother, and different things of that nature, because I was that family member that, y'all pray about it, I'm gonna go handle it. So while y'all praying, I'll be back. Right. But when it got to the point where I didn't have peace, I couldn't comfortably go home without riding past the house 2-3 times just to make sure, or having individuals in the neighborhood, as I pulled up, I would call. They'd be like, "Oh, bro, everything all good." Then I get out the car.
Yeah, right.
Couldn't go nowhere without my gun, and everywhere I went, I had it. So it was not having that peace and couldn't comfortably sleep. You hear a cricket, you jumping up, you want to look around, who coming? Because you never
always
know
watching your back.
What's going to take place. So that for me was like, it got to be more to it than this.
Wow. So, okay, so here's the other thing. So a lot of times, especially you said you was deep into, that lifestyle, that, everything that went along with it, as you said, as you shared. Many people would say that that's something that you can't get out of, especially, if you do, like I watched the TV, I wasn't necessarily in that lifestyle, but listen, I got a story. Mine might be a little bit different, but I have a story as well. But how do you get out? It's not easy.
No, it's not easy.
Yeah.
And for a lot of individuals, getting out is not an option.
Right.
But for me in particularly, I was fortunate enough to be able to walk out. I wasn't pushed out. I wasn't in nobody's black and white. I wasn't in no witness protection. I move and groove how I want to right now to this day. But I was able to walk out. I made the conscious decision to be done with it. I felt like I paid my dues.
How? I just need to. How were you able to walk out?
it just got to the point where I was able to sit down and just have a conversation with my dudes. I respect I respect the ones that still getting it, as they say. You know, if that's your thing, that's your thing. If any of y'all ever find a 401k plan in that hustling, then you let me know, because it ain't there. But that's what they chose to do. And for me personally, see, what a lot of people didn't understand is, and I'll be transparent, we will be doing stuff like, for instance,
yes, transparent.
We'll be smoking weed or whatever to that effect. I'll be listening to Quartet, getting on their nerves. But it was because I was brought up in the church, so it was certain stuff
that was like, dude, turn it off. Okay, go ahead.
Immediately, like, man, turn that off, man. We trying to bust a move, and who is these? They country. We don't want to hear that. But for me, it was like, hey, that was my comment point. But again, I was able to just have a conversation like, hey, bro, this ain't for me. Now, the difference in what I experienced and what other people experienced was, I was with the dudes. I was with the fella. So it was like, bro, we respect what you own.
I guess what I think is like, okay, I understand your people, but the enemies don't care. You see what I'm saying? Like, that's the part where I'm like,
they absolutely don't care. And for me personally, that's where God came in.
Come
strong.
on in here. Won't he do it Wednesdays? Because I was looking for it.
Because of the simple fact that just because you change, everybody don't respect your change.
Yeah.
And it still got to the point where I would go places, and when you have a certain type of reputation, regardless of your change, regardless of your Jesus, regardless of your salvation, people still see you for who you were and not who you are.
Yes.
So people would still see me and call me by what everybody else called me, and they'd be like, oh, bro, what's up, man? I thought you moved out of town. I thought you did this. I thought you did that.
Yeah.
But God came in, and you know, they say you change the mind, change the man. Well, for me, I strongly believe not only did he change my mind and change me, but he changed my appearance when it came to certain enemies and certain places that I went to, because I was able to go to places and people wouldn't recognize me, and or the ones that did, I was able to have a conversation with them, and it was like, bro, you know, we was young and we was dumb. Man, we grown now. I ain't on that. Are you on that? It was like, oh, I'm not on that, because I never had the reputation. I was always a man of few words. When I was in the street life, I couldn't beat you arguing, so I wasn't finna argue with you. That I couldn't do. So to run across certain individuals and they look at me and they can tell that there was a difference in just how I looked at them and approached them. Things for me completely changed.
Wow. You know, it reminds me of the story, just vaguely, not completely, because it's a different kind of meaning behind this particular story, but there's a story of Joseph in the Bible where, you know, his brothers, you know, he saw himself as being king, and, you know, the brothers tried to kill him, whatever. He ended up being separated from them. He ended up in a palace after going through a bunch of kind of craziness on his own, ended up in prison. He just has all of this stuff that he endured. And then at some point, you know, he did, his dream did manifest, and he was in the palace. And his brothers had to come to him because there was famine in the land. And they didn't recognize him. This was their own blood brother. So when you said that, it just made me think about that God can do such a change in you that the remnant, the residue of what you were, isn't even there anymore. That's just powerful. So talk a little bit about the transition now into church, because I know you said, you could walk out, but still, it's a very different lifestyle. Church people are very different. You ended up, you know, being married, you know, as well. And then you're also a musician.
Yes.
Yeah.
Going back to what you said as it relates to church people are very different.
Yes, they are.
And
bless their heart. Well, I guess I'm one.
You know, they
ish.
Coming into the church, I'm still coming in as me. So they see the tattoos. They see I'm not coming in with the suits on. So they automatically will associate you with still being a part of that lifestyle. And you had individuals come and they want to, you know, prophesy or prophesy, whatever it is they call it doing, as it relates to, you know, you need to get out that life. And it's like, I'm not even in that life. I'm not in that life anymore.
Yeah.
That's not me. However, being into the church, one of the things that helped me a lot was small groups, because it gave you the opportunity to be transparent and to kind of connect with somebody that wouldn't be judgmental of you. You know, we say all the time, come as you are, but one of the reasons why we don't come as we are is because when we come as we are, we enter into Halloween.
Yeah.
And what I mean by that is we enter into an environment where everybody got a mask on. Everybody, no one's being them.
I was like, what? Halloween was yesterday.
Yeah.
Got you. Okay, I'm with you now.
Nobody is being them. Everybody's portraying what
Always
they feel like that they should be for that moment. And for those of us who are cut from a different type of cloth, we don't need to see the 2-hour you. We need to see the everyday you, because it allows us to really break the chains. It allows us to open up and really
walk in our own truth and reality of what is. And the real, we can't even really talk about the real deliverance power of God because not no one, but there's so many people that are walking around, like you said, with these masks on. Let's see the real face so you can get real healing, real deliverance. And if we start to share our testimonies, like, again, thank you for even sharing, then other people can say, well, you know what? Maybe I don't have to carry this stress of trying to be something that I'm not. Maybe I'm all right where I am. Maybe God can meet me right where I am.
Yeah, because he met me
Come
where
on
I was,
in here.
And it allowed me to step out and just say, you know what, God, I'm trusting you wholeheartedly.
Yeah.
I'm not going to lean on my own abilities. Whatever it is that you want me to do, I'm gonna do it, because I'm always a curious individual, so I always want to know the why. So for me, it was like, why me? I done been to multiple funerals. It's like, why me?
Yeah.
Why was I out of everybody else? You decided to keep me. And one of the songs that I listen to all the time is, you know, you thought I was worth saving.
Yeah.
So now I want to know why. You know, it's for me to find out the why behind that. And then as I look and watch the news and see other cats, I realize this is the why.
Yeah.
It's a total different day right now. So now it's for me to come back and grab the young men and say, hey, bro, I got out of it. And I'm living proof that you can get out of it. And I can go deeper into my testimony to let them say, bro, I did it.
Yeah, I love it.
It ain't easy. However, as long as you don't abort the process and understand that the things that you go through may be a part of your process. Because in the end of that, you're able to speak to a different group of individuals that most people can't touch.
Yeah.
You know, some people ain't
relate to
coming
them
in the
on
church.
that level. Yeah.
So I'm going to them.
Woo, I love it. Come on, hit these streets, boots to the ground. I guess one of the last things I wanted, did music, was that a part of the support? Because I think that's something that we need to also put out there. A lot of times, you don't have to go completely cold turkey, you know. God, there are other things. There are other. You'll develop other skills. Yeah.
For me, I come from a musical family, so I like different types of music. So in my transition out, I needed an outlet.
Yeah.
And creatively, music was my outlet. So I went and bought a bass guitar, taught myself how to play the bass guitar.
You gotta be killing.
And after that, it was just like, hey, I really like this. So music, even to this day right now, you know, music sets the platform for everything. That's why the band plays before the pastor preaches. It sets the atmosphere. And when you realize the power in that, and for me, my breakthrough started coming in music. And it's been history. And
I've
been able to connect with some amazing individuals.
You know, and it could be a completely different way that you were connecting if you were to stay in that lifestyle. It could be, you know, one of tragedy and sadness and devastation for, you know, even if you live in the life, but then somebody else is negatively benefiting from, you know, whatever it was that you were doing, you know, during that time. So I'm godly proud of you for pushing forward. I mean, on top of that, you know, a loving husband and father and, you know, and just doing, I mean, I see you at church, you know, also a member of World Outreach. And so tell the people too, how they can stay connected to Belivers United and how they can continue to support you and your beautiful wife. Shanyell, what's up?
Well, we have a Facebook page, Belivers United.
Yeah.
You can get on there, join the group. Again, our purpose is to be a connection point. We like to share everything that's going on as it relates to positive God stuff. So feel free to connect with us on there. You will see more of us soon. We're stepping out like never before in 2018. So we have some big things on the horizon.
I love it.
Some very major things. It's time. It's time for us to soar. So
yes,
we are on the launching pad. So we've been preparing to take flight, and just know that we've just got cleared.
I like it.
We'll be taking flight soon.
I love it. I love it. You guys, you hear the man. Stay connected. He was in a lifestyle that most people wish they could walk out of, and unfortunately a lot of people die in. Yeah. So make sure you get connected to him, learn more about him, his testimony, and kind of what they're doing now for the kingdom of God. It's such an amazing I just love to see, you know, the fruit of persistence and of I guess being consistent with whatever it is that God has given you to do. So I'm so thankful. Yeah.
And also for parents, grandparents out there who have family members that are in that lifestyle, keep praying. Don't stop praying, because I'm a product of my grandmother's not her not giving up, my mother not giving up. So although you may not see it that Monday that you pray, trust and believe that your prayers are making a difference, because we might rebel during that time, but God is a faithful God. So everything that you ask and you petition him for, trust that he is doing it. But you have to understand that he's doing it in his timing and not yours. Wow. So eventually they will come out.
Yes, and he is a rewarder of those who diligently seek him. Perfect way to segue into our next song. Again, thank you, Ron, so much. Belivers United. We're going to make sure we put your information in our group so that you guys can stay connected to him. We're going to go to our first song by our featured artist today. I'm so excited to feature The Late Bloomer. I was like, that's a whole name. The Late Bloomer. He's out of Texas, an amazing keyboard player, producer, musician, and now artist. So we're going to listen to some of his music, and we'll talk a little bit more about him when we come back. Let's go to that first song by The Late Bloomer. That's a big old name.
You've never not answered my heart's prayers. Oh, thank you for that. Thank you.
And we are back. That was Rashawn, the late bloomer. If I say it slow, I can get it out. And that song was Comfortable. Shout out to Rashawn over in Texas. Amazing song. We'll hear some more music from him in probably another 10 minutes. So keep it locked. And then I'll make sure that you guys know how you can pick up his music. I'll make sure I put that in my group so you can stay connected. If you know me, you know that I love the independent artist. So we love to shine light. So if you have some music that you'd like for me to share, then you can definitely email me at savedinthecitymke@gmail.com. And again, it's gospel music or inspirational music, and I'm happy to share that. Now it's time for one of the fun parts of the show where we get to show or share some of the announcements in our city. I like to call it the church announcements. So I'm waiting on Antoine, if he joins. I'm waiting on Antoine to get me my theme music for my church announcements. I need that. So I just need some organ music. So if y'all know organists who want to do some like old school organ music, or a person who could do like a old mother's voice or a old deacon's voice, I'm looking to recruit some folks. So it should be fun. So let's jump right into our church announcements. And again, if you have an announcement that you want me to put on the radio, then you can just email me at savedinthecitymke@gmail.com, and just in the subject heading put church announcements, any community happening or church event coming up. All right, so let's jump right in. It says, look sharp with Be Sharp, your style, your way, clothes, apparel, coats, etc., for free. Let's get you right without a dime. How nice is that? So this is happening this weekend, November 4th, 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. or until all of the items are gone. And it's going to be at the Mill Road Library, 6431 North 76th Street in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. If you know of someone who needs some clothing or some coats, and the winter season is coming, and maybe everybody, if we're transparent, everybody don't have the funding, and so here is an opportunity for you to either get blessed or be a blessing. So make sure you head out there to Mill Road Library November 4th. Also coming up, Diversified Divas presents the second annual Winter Wonderland brunch. It says, grab your girlfriends for a relaxing afternoon overlooking a beautiful 18-hole golf course. Enjoy a hearty brunch, shopping with our vendors, musical entertainment, and be filled spiritually and mentally by our special guests. Tickets are only $35. You can purchase those at Diversified Diva Brunch 2017 at eventbrite.com, or give them a call at 414-301-2617. They're also looking for vendors, so make sure you reach out to them. All right, and again, that's on September 5th. I don't think I got that out there. So Sunday, September 5th, at 2017 at the River Club of Mequon. All right, also, Taste of Restaurants basket. Okay, this gift basket is loaded with delicious food, gift certificates, gift cards, and restaurant souvenir items. What's inside? They said Buffalo Wild Wings, Texas Roadhouse. Wow, what? I'm looking like, wait a minute. Now, how much is it? Oh, you can win it. Because I'm like, well, what? How do you buy it? But anyway, this is happening again. There's a lot happening on November 4th. So this is happening November 4th, 5 to 9. And do they have a location on here? How y'all give me this with no location, giving us all the tasty goodness? So we're going to find out the location and make sure we put that in the group. But it looks like they are giving, this is during the silent auction, over 50 gift cards and restaurant souvenir items. So I'll make sure that I find out the details of that, and then we'll give you guys that information. Also, the Milwaukee Christian Fellowship Basketball League, Saturday, November 11th, 8 a.m. to 12 noon. New beginnings are possible. They're looking for coaches, and it's also an information session if you're interested in learning more about the Milwaukee Christian Fellowship Basketball League. The coaches development and information session is for all new and returning coaches that are considering joining the league this season. They'll go over the rules, ministry strategies, and benefits of the upcoming season. They say that you should attend if you are a returning coach, if you are a youth ministry leader from churches and ministries and you want to learn more about MCFBL, or your potential coach from churches that are undecided but willing to partner with another church to form a team. So that's some fun activities that you can do with some of your members, or if you just want to learn more, make sure that you go and visit them. If that was way too much information for you to take in, then just go ahead and give them a call at 414-397-0082. Again, 414-397-0082. And then lastly, get to church on Sunday morning or Wednesday somewhere. Find somebody church and find yourself there, whether you're at the Bible study or you decide you want to go to church on Sunday. I recommend World Outreach Center at 3410 West Silver Spring Drive, and then there's also some other amazing churches in the city. Maybe I'll do a church shout out pretty soon, where I have you shout out your church. Parklawn was another great one. And there's just a bunch out there that are really, really great. So anyhow, I love you guys so much, and that has been your church announcements. Now comes one of my favorite times in the show, where we shine light on amazing people doing amazing things right here in our city. And so I have the esteemed pleasure to chat with a beautiful young lady. Her name is Shanyell McCloud, and I believe that she's on the phone right now. Shanyell, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Shanyell, I'm so glad you could be on today. How are you?
I am excellent. I am excellent. How are you?
I'm doing just fine. Better now that you're on the phone with me. You are this week's Milwaukee treasure, so congratulations, and thank you for all that you're doing in the city with your organization, Clean Slate. For those people who may not be familiar with your program and exactly what it is that you do, why don't we start by you just kind of telling them a little bit about Clean Slate?
Sure. So Clean Slate, Wisconsin now. Clean Slate, Wisconsin is a second chance reentry organization for men and women that have made mistakes in their past, paid their debt to society, and, now want nothing more than a fresh start. And, people want to be self-sufficient and be able to move on, from what happened in the past.
Yeah. So
we provide affordable expungement services to men and women that cannot afford these high-priced attorneys that, charge, even though they may be eligible for expungement, they may not know what to do. And, just basically, so we work really hard on the street level as well as the state level. So we have several expungement bills of our own we're trying to push, and basically to expand expungement opportunities for people from back in the day. So we all have a auntie or uncle, they got a record from 1980 something, 1970 something that may still, being penalized for that charge all the way until today. He's still paying for it.
Wow. And
our slogan, I will say our motto at Clean Slate is without expungement, every sentence is a life sentence. So, I've been studying the topic of expungement for 10 years now. And this is the year that we've actually expanded to be a statewide organization so that we can do work on a state level and just reach a variety of people to make that push actually happen.
Yes. Oh, my God. And thank God, again, this is why I'm honoring you as a Milwaukee treasure, because we need more people like you that, that don't forget about the forgotten. And one of the things that I do, some of you guys may know or may not know, but I help people with disabilities get jobs. And believe it or not, a lot of times it's not their physical or mental disability that's the challenge. It's the other barriers. It's things like a record from 1989 that's still hanging out on their on their record. And a lot of times they don't they want it off, or they don't know what the proper steps are to get it handled. And so you make it easy for them and affordable. So how do people get connected to your program?
Well, we have a website. Right now it's Clean Slate MKE, because we still need to make that switch over from Milwaukee to Wisconsin, but I still can be found at cleanslatemke.org. I can be reached by phone, 414-627-0067. My Facebook page anybody who knows me know I live, move, and breathe this thing.
Yes.
You know, I've been on this for a long time.
Yeah.
So if you go to my Facebook page, that's all you're going to find is expungement this, expungement that. The Clean Slate Wisconsin page on Facebook. We're on Instagram. So, you know, right now we're just basically trying to educate. Our new thing is to educate employers and HR professionals on, for one, what is expungement, how to identify an expungement client if one is sitting in front of you, and how to actually read a criminal record so to prevent employment, just outright employment discrimination. I've heard from HR professionals that if they even see a felony on someone's record, they're not getting a job.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, that's not fair. Actually, that's illegal, but that's not fair because you don't read to the next page to see that felony was either reduced to a misdemeanor or dropped entirely. You know, these cases that can be dismissed. You know, people arrested and not convicted, but it's still on your record, and people don't know those are the easiest things to be expunged. You know, you know, somebody has something on their record that they just didn't do. You know, that can be expunged, you know, and I don't remember there being a formal education to our community about these things.
Right.
So that's why I go far, is because they don't teach people, you know, what they really need to know. I feel like people get consumed in the wrong things, and what they really need to know is their legal, you know, some post-conviction relief, you know, some how to courtroom work, and, you know, just not to get railroaded in that, because too many of our people is filling up this prison. Too many people, like, you know, any prison you go to, it's an overwhelming amount of black people in the prison system. And that's some part due to just straight up ignorance of how the legal process works.
Right. Most people just don't know. They just don't know. Why is this particular cause so specifically important to you? I mean, I see why it's important, period. But what is it about this particular cause that you said this is something that I got to take hold of and I got to, you know, walk out in the earth?
Well, because 10 years ago I was convicted of my first and only misdemeanor.
Gotcha.
And I was working at a Fortune 500 company, you know, which is where I had been, you know, the first 10 years of my working career. And after I received that conviction, I can never go back to, you know, the Fortune 500 companies. I can never go back to corporate America.
Yeah. Wow.
And so that left me with really, I was overqualified for McDonald's, underqualified for Wells Fargo.
Girl.
You know, so it just left me in a struggle. And so I seen then when I was in the job center that I was surrounded by people just like me. You know, people that also had records, you know, also had things that, I mean, they just wasn't going to get the job. No matter how many applications you put in, once you check that box, you basically checked yourself out. And so, you know, it's getting better. It's getting better now because the employers are like, look, we need workers. Some employers are like, we don't care. But this is now 10 years later. It was not like that 10 years ago. You had a record, you was out. It don't even. You better know somebody to know somebody to know somebody.
Wow, Shanyell, I love you. I mean, just for your transparency and just, you know, I mean, and keeping it real, because it's real out here. And a lot of times we got to get through those first initial barriers before we can even start talking about the basic stuff about resume refinement and interview skills. I mean, who cares if I can't even get past checking a box? So I'm so glad that you do the work that you do. So again, before we end the interview, I just want to say thank you so much. I see you doing the work. I see you got your board now. I said, come on, Clean Slate. I love it. So again, tell the people how they can get connected to Clean Slate, and we will definitely have to have you back on the show at a later time.
Sure. It's cleanslatemke.org, 414-627-0067, or our Facebook page, Clean Slate Wisconsin, or straight up my page, Shanyell McCloud, SHANYELL McCloud, MCCLOUD.
I love it. You go ahead and glow, girl. I love it. We will definitely be talking to you soon. More power to you. We support you here at Saved in the City. So if you have any events or things like that are coming up, make sure that you send them to me. I'll make sure you have. Well, you do have my contact information, and I'm happy to announce them right here on the show. We definitely support you here. So without further ado, all right, girl. Well, we'll talk soon.
All right, thank you.
Okay, thanks. All right, guys, we're going to go to that next song by Rasan the Late Bloomer. I got to say it slower. I can't get it out. An amazing new artist right out of Houston, Texas. He says in February of this year, he released his single entitled Get Up, Stand Up across all digital platforms. This song is an introduction to his third studio album as an artist. He shared the stage with some of the industry's greats, and now he's looking to gain traction in his hometown of town of Houston as a creator of musical art and abroad. So he sent it to his girl out here in Milwaukee. So we love you over here too, Rasan. So let's go to his next song, Get Up, Stand Up.
I'm gonna let my light shine, cause it's all for the King of Kings. So I ain't gonna let my problems get the best of me, best of me. Even when I'm hurt and I feel the doubt, and every little thing I can't talk about, he doesn't know what I need, he doesn't know, yeah. I was just thinking that I don't deserve this kind of love from you. And all of those choices, the late night escapades that kept me away from you. Lord, all this time trying to find what I'm living for, not knowing that my purpose wasn't you. A man ain't supposed to cry. Told myself that lie over and over.
And we are back again. You guys are locked live to Saved and the City each and every Wednesday if you're watching live on Facebook. And then on Fridays, the podcast is live. And so, again, if you have an iPhone, if you have an Android, you can subscribe to Saved in the City podcast show. Just find your little podcast app on your phone and subscribe to Saved in the City. I really, really want you guys to stay connected. And each Friday at 12 o'clock, the new each Friday at 12, you can hear it at WQYL-DB.com/Saved in the City. And at 1 o'clock, it'll be downloaded to your podcast. So you can listen to past shows and all of that fun stuff. So, again, today is Won't He Do It Wednesday, and it's been an amazing Wednesday so far. We had Ron Sain on earlier talking about his amazing testimony and how God has delivered and things that most people died in, he was able to walk out of. Wow. And so, I wanted to keep it going with the second half of the show and talking to an amazing young man that I met a long time ago with several different projects. He wears many hats. And I guess most recently people know him as an amazing baker. He loves to bake, and there was a story that was written up, and it says that Darrin Reasby always loved to bake, but it wasn't until he was diagnosed with congestive heart failure that he was able to turn his passion into a business. So why don't you share with us a little bit of your story? You happy to be here?
Definitely happy to be here.
I'm happy you're here. You made it.
I finally got a chance to be here.
I know. It's been a while. Did you find it okay, or did you end up at the apartment across the street?
No, I found it okay.
Okay, there we go. Every show, always somebody ends up at an apartment across the street, but not these fellas. All right, because they use their GPS.
There you go.
That's what I'm saying. What's up, Darrin? Tell us about your life.
Well, first off, thank you for actually having me on here.
Yes.
And I got to thank God because my story is a story.
Wow.
Like she said, I ended up having congestive heart failure 2015, October of 2015. They thought I was having a heart attack and found out that it was congestive heart failure. Never been in a hospital overnight a day in my life.
Wow.
And
this was when? This was
October of 2015.
Oh wow! Recent.
So it's been
not that long ago.
It's been 2 years ago that I walked into the hospital, and my life has changed ever since. Like I said, I walked in. They thought I was having a heart attack, and I actually wasn't having a heart attack. They sent me to the heart hospital, and they found out I had congestive heart failure, and my heart was only pumping at 20%.
Wow.
So they did some tests and everything, and they said, okay, well, we're going to probably give you some medicine and send you home, and we'll find out what else we have to do afterwards. So they sent me home. 2 days later, I had a stroke on my right side. So I went to St. Joseph. The stroke wasn't that bad, I guess.
I kind of don't want you to go to St. Joseph, but you went. Go ahead.
Oh, trust me. I actually didn't want to go to St. Joseph, but that's where I ended up at as far as having a stroke. I was in there for about a week, rehabbed, came back home, had pneumonia in my right lung.
And you
back to the hospital.
You weren't sick like throughout your life. This was something that just...
No high blood pressure, no cholesterol, playing basketball, weight proportion to height, the whole 9 yards.
Right.
This was just rapidly changing. Everything was changing. They sent me home, and the last straw, my leg swelled up from the ankle all the way up to my knee. I went back to Freighter Hospital, and I was like, I'm not going home until I find out exactly what's really going on. So I ended up in the ICU. Doctors came in, and they said, well, we need to prep you and get you on the list for a heart transplant.
What?
And I'm like, it's like, ain't no leaky valves or something that y'all can fix.
Baby, another way.
I went from like 1 to 10 on this. Just somebody said you need a heart. It's like, what do you say? You know, your mind's not even fixed to even think about that you need a heart. So I had to accept it.
Wow.
So I was in that hospital for about 6 months. They tried to save.
What caused that? It just
basically, from what my understanding and the doctor's understanding, that a virus attacked my heart. So when you say a virus, it's just like getting a common cold, getting a flu, and it just it attacked my heart. So that's something that what just came out of left field, and they tried to save it. They tried to put me on some different medicine and stuff, and like I said, they sent me home for about 6 months, and actually went from 20% down to 16%. So it wasn't getting better. They actually told me that I had about like 6 months to live if I wouldn't get bridge for this heart. So what I mean by bridge, I ended up having to get an electronic heart, which was a pump, and I had to plug myself up into the wall for 14 months, carry batteries around 24 hours a day. I had my first open heart surgery, and they put a pump in and squeezed my heart. So it was actually an electronic heart. That's basically what I had.
I'm even more shocked because I know you. You know what I mean? Like, you are you are a doer. You know, whether it's, helping the young girls with the,
Born a Dream.
Born a Dream, which is the business that most of us know them from, or, artwork, what is it, electrical kind of artwork,
the graphic design.
The graphic design and everything. I mean, you're a doer. And then for that to happen and somebody say 6 months to live.
6 months to live.
What? I mean, where did so you're saying that's where the faith kind of increased? I mean, I guess that's where it had to. Or did it kind of go down after that,
I wouldn't even say it increased. I mean, I never questioned God. I never said, why me? I said, why not me? Because if you know what I was doing before, I believed in what I was doing. And it was only through the grace of God that I actually can do the things that I was doing. So I can't get upset when things don't go my way. I just keep pushing through.
You helping somebody.
Because he was pushing me through all the time when it was the good times. We always want to run to God in the bad, in the storm. But, hey, God is there right next to you when things is happening good. Just like the gentleman earlier was speaking about the gangs and stuff like that, and I was looking at the story about 50 Cent, and they were talking about how he got shot 5 times and he lived. And I'm like, I tell the kids, I didn't get shot 5 times, and I'm living. We got to think about those that don't cross the path and make their life better. That's why when I had my program, which it still is, Born to Dream, there's a lot of programs out for those that get in trouble. What about if I can control those before they get in trouble? So that's how I looked at my heart. I was like, okay, I enjoyed my life. I like I said, God has been good to me from day one. So why would I question him in the midst of a storm when I know that he can pull me through it?
And
Anybody can pull me through it.
It's so crazy because people, look, you was plugging yourself into a wall. And you got people questioning God because they got chocolate cake instead of red velvet cake. Like, Lord, I thought I told you. Like, that's what I'm saying. It's so basic. And so we really got to change our perception of what we're thankful for and what it is truly to be blessed.
Correct.
Wow. So what happened? Okay, so you went through that process.
So amongst of me plugging myself in a wall,
what?
I found a new passion, which I was baking somewhat, but I wasn't baking on the big level.
Yeah.
Did a couple of cakes that sold for $800 to $1,000.
I actually had one of your pies before. That was the bomb.
So I decided that I wanted to do something with the program that I already had, Born to Dream, Divas in Training, and the baking part. So I came up with the idea of Are You Kidding Me Bakery,
right?
Which is basically run by youth from the ages of 15 to 21 young adults.
Yeah.
And 80% of it's going to be run by them.
Mm-hmm.
So even in the middle of me plugging myself in, I was in the kitchen baking because that's where I found that I wouldn't think about I need a heart.
Yeah, right.
You know, you plug yourself in and you're just like, wow, it's kind of hard not knowing that you need a heart. When I go to bed, I got to plug myself in. Or when I leave out the house, I can't forget my batteries because it lasts 12 hours and I got to get back to the house to make sure the batteries plugged back in before I can go where I have to go. So that's what got me. My talent, it just like I said, it went back to God. It went back to what I was doing. He said, don't stop what you're doing. In the amongst of the storm, you still can do the things that you are used and accustomed to doing. I tell people that go to church on a regular basis, and then when something happens to them bad, they want to run even more. And I'm saying, well, I thought y'all already was praying. I thought y'all already believed.
Yeah.
So if you already believe, you just keep walking in that same faith. What should change?
All things work together for the good. So what's going on now? You still in need of a heart transplant?
No, as of June 9th, I got a heart. I got a new heart. So I'm blessed to have a new heart.
Come on, with your bass guitar. I need some shout music.
Next month will be 6 months. I got a heart June 9th. I was out of the hospital June 19th. So it was one of the fastest recovery. I was only in the hospital for 10 days. And I came out and just went back to what I was doing.
I'm literally trying not to just bawl right now.
Like I said,
no more plugging into the wall. Still moving forward with your purpose.
Right. No more plugging into the wall.
You feel good.
I feel great. Try not to think about it, you know. Wow. And somebody asked me when I came out of surgery, they said, well, how do you feel about having a different heart? And I told them, I said, well, that's so the heart that I had, I knew that heart for 50 years. That's the only heart I knew. So people, when you think about that, it's like, okay, how do I feel about this new heart? It's like, wow, I had a heart for 50 years and now I don't have it. And I'm still amongst you guys, walking, talking, breathing. So, like I said, through the grace of God, it's just, even when I talk about it sometimes, I know how it's hard for y'all to believe or think about it, but I am walking around with somebody else's heart. And I'm still doing the same things that I can do. And it hasn't, to be totally honest, I think I pushed myself even more after getting a heart because I didn't want to, biggest things, I don't want people to take pity on me because I got a heart. You know, it's like, okay, look past that. If you look at me, you wouldn't even know that I have went through.
I just heard people saying he'd walk a miracle. I didn't know that you got a new heart. I was like, oh, well,
yeah. 3 weeks after I got out to hospital, 4 weeks after I got out the hospital, I got into a competition at a Men Who Cook.
Right.
I had won last year, so I wanted to come back and you know, represent my crown again, and I actually won again. And I was 4 weeks out. I threw an all-white party for my kids. So nothing really has changed. It's just, like I said, it's the dedication and the believing in God. When you think that he ain't there, he's always there. So if I can go through this,
my soul. Go ahead.
If I can go through this, I think anybody that we talk about Trump, we talk about the day-to-day issues, but at the end of the day, you just got to live your life because you never know. Like I said, I walked in that hospital. The last thing I thought was somebody going to tell me I needed a heart. That's just the last thing you would. It's like saying you need a brain or a heart. It's like, no, not me. Not me. I'm healthy. I'm running up and down court playing basketball. But once they said it and it synced in, I said, okay, well, what's next? They gave me the battery. I said, okay, what's next? They gave me the heart. I said, what's next? So
That's the
what
part.
I live. That's what I live by.
That's the part that right there just like it takes me in, because that's where people give up is that middle. It's that middle area between, you know, when you hear the news and you make it through, quote unquote, the storm or whatever that part is. People give up in the middle, but you never stopped in the middle. And that's, to me, that's where that blessing is. That's where that faith grew even more, even though you already had it. And then to be able to share the story to the listeners and to whoever listens even later on or even on Friday, I'm telling you, it's going to set some people free. I'm blown away. And so right now, tell the people how they can stay connected to all the amazing things you're still doing.
Well, we got a website, Are You Kidding Me Bakery, and that's spelled R, letter U, and then kiddingmebakery.com.
Yeah.
And of course, you can reach me on Facebook at Darrin Reasby. We actually are trying to open up the bakery, the physical bakery, by the end of the year or the first part of the year.
Yeah.
So that's something for them to be looking out. I do catering, so we got a catering company called It's Time to Eat Catering.
Nice.
So I cook a healthy alternative to catering. So if anybody needs healthy food, you can reach out to me. And not only do I do the catering part, which is good, I do the baked goods too. So most caterers, they only do the food, but they don't bring the dessert.
Yeah.
So I'm known for, okay, I want this food, but hey, can you bring me that strawberry crunch cake?
Yeah.
So I do both of them. And then the third thing I'm working on is open up an art gallery, because I do the design and graphic design and stuff.
I love that.
So that's like I said, I pushed the envelope even farther, which I was going there anyway.
Yeah.
But I didn't know I was going to go there with a new heart.
Wow.
So now I got to go there with this new heart. And actually, I got a 29-year-old heart, so.
Well, he ready, y'all. I love it. I love it.
I get 50 years out of this one.
Exactly. Oh, my God. I think this is so fitting for us just to throw in to share with you guys the kingdom solution. It's Isaiah 43, 18 through 9. And Darrin's talking about a new heart. And it says, this is so fitting, I think. Isaiah chapter 14, verses 18 through 19. It says, forget the former things. Do not dwell on the past. Then it says, see, I'm doing a new thing. Come on, new heart. New thing. Now it springs up. Do you perceive it? I am making a way in the wilderness and the streams of the wasteland. So coming out of that dark place, coming out of whatever that thing that it is that you've been going through, God wants to do a new thing in you, whether it's physically, whether it's mentally, emotionally, spiritually. Don't be afraid of the shift. Amen. And so thank you guys to all of my supporters. I could not do this without you. Thank you to my guests, Ron Sain, Darrin Reasby. Oh my God. Shanyell, McCloud, our music feature, Delayed Bloomer, and specifically WQYL-DB Enterprise Now, and LZ Flinnard. And be sure to follow me on social media to stay connected to all things saved and the city. Be sure to share this post as well. And until next week, be encouraged.